day and welcome to the Author's Corner. My name is Marisa Blunorn. I am your host and I'm so excited, like always, to be in your presence. And I just want to share with you, we have a special guest today. She is no stranger to the Own It magazine. She is actually auntie to me. She's auntie to the Own It family, and we really enjoyed her being here, taking center stage in the Dominican Republic this May. She was our MC for the Own It X 2025. We're looking forward to having her as our special high-level leader and consultant guest for 2026 Own It X. She is a whirlwind of wisdom. I mean, sometimes today we don't take the time to really glean from those who have made the way for us, and she's definitely a trailblazer, and so on so many different levels and so many different areas. And I want to take the time before bringing her on so that we set the stage right for her. She is the new author of a book coming out that we're going to go deep into, but it's current knowledge that our students need to know. Our administrators and our teachers need to have support in these areas. And then also, too, getting out the discomfort of AI, artificial intelligence. And so I'm going to introduce her. Dr. Hattie Washington is a trailblazer in education, known for breaking barriers as the first female African-American VP at Compton State University, a former state evaluator of superintendents, university professors, and executive administrator. She is also known as the founder of Aunt Hattie's Place, a nonprofit for foster boys with special needs. She is the proud mother of two accomplished daughters, one a physician, the other an attorney, and has spent decades advancing educational equality through technology and heart-centered leadership. Dr. Washington is also the author of award-winning books, Driven to Succeed and Aunt Hattie's Cookbook. Her personal and professional legacy proves that when educators are equipped, students are empowered. Taking center stage and owning it with me is my Aunt Hattie, Dr. Hattie Washington. Oh, thank you so much for being here with us, and not counting it robbery to continue to give us just the, waking us and equipping us and educating us and empowering us to continue to move forward, especially in this area of technology. And we're here today as a result of your new book that's coming out, AI Toolkit for Teachers Made Easy. And so talk to us. We already know what you've been up to. You've been up to writing some more books and just inspiring us to be more open to how, technology is evolving, especially in this area of AI. People are so concerned and have their reservations about AI, but you've offered something that's going to be a resource to help people, and specifically teachers, administrators, and students to ease their way into this new wave of technology. So what encouraged you to write the book?
I was writing a book anyway about effective strategies for teachers, because in teaching teachers for years at the university, I saw there were gaps in terms of what I was teaching and what I could teach in the one semester that I had grad students. So I felt like I needed to write a book anyway, to have them to pull all the strategies together so they can reach all the children. But during COVID, when people were out of school and my teachers and other teachers were teaching from home, some of them were computer savvy, many of them were not. But they felt close enough to me to call me and say, Washington, I don't know. I'm out of ideas. Some of my students don't have computers. And if they do, I got a curriculum, but I don't know how to break it down so that they can get it. And then I can teach it on this computer that I don't know too much about, and the software that I don't know too much about. So I was helping them along the way, coming up with brain teasers, coming up with activities that they could use to reach the kids that were fun, but at the same time, they would match the Maryland State cognitive, where they had to, those skills that they had to know. And so I just started breaking down the strategies and the Maryland State requirements and giving them ideas. So I said, maybe I just need to write this down. And then with COVID and then with the AI, I'm thinking, well, maybe I can wrap the two together. I can still teach them how to teach students how to go back and get those kids who are behind and how to bring them up and how to not to have the person who have got it already be bored, and how for the gifted kids who already know it, for them to say, oh my Lord, I know this. And she's saying it over again. So I'm coming up with all of those strategies, and I'm doing so much research on AI software. I'm trying to get AI software that's free for my teachers, but at the same time, it's not just all fun and games. If it is fun, but what skill are you trying to implement with the child? So it's just going to be a wonderful toolkit that teachers can use with or without computers. They can use it with the children to catch up, keep up, and to go farther than that grade. I want them, if they just finished with that go on to the next level. You just because you're in the 4th grade, go on to the 5th grade. So I'm teaching them how to let them personalize their learning per kid.
Wow, you really said a lot, because I remember when we went into isolation or lockdown with COVID. I remember saying to myself, I was concerned about kids in communities where they did not have technology, where they did not have the laptops or the computers, and I've even known family members, which is very surprising in this age, that didn't have computers at home. And all I could think about is, just like you said, literacy. How literate are they with the technology, and how far they could fall behind, and taken for granted what you shared about the teachers themselves not being familiar with the technology.
Yes.
These are things that, we take for granted because we're so busy about, and this keeps coming up to me, busy about many things, right? But we're not paying attention to the needful thing. And I feel like when you look at it from the perspective of preparing our children for the workforce, because that's what they're headed to, right?
Yes.
Education is about having them informed, education in life, skills, but also too, in how they're going to get their jobs. And this is so critically important from that perspective, is making sure that they're familiar with technology and things like that. I want to talk to you about training the trainer. The book is designed to support the teachers and help them along the way. Share with us a little bit more insight in regards to your experience with teaching teachers and some of the things that would ease them into just the AI technology.
Well, I'm saying in the book that it is not fearful. So if you're afraid of technology, just relax, because this is going to ease you into it. I'm going step by step, walking you step by step. I'm giving you the free software to go along with that particular skill, and that particular skill mimics whether the kid is on the awareness level, whether it's on the comprehension level, whether it's on the assessment level. So you would be able to back up with this tool, because I'm telling you, this is the skill that you need to use for this kid. And many times teachers don't know where to back up to. They know the kid is not quite where everybody else, but they don't have the wherewithal to say, now, how do I back up seamlessly? I want to be intentional, but seamless, whereby the kid doesn't even know that she just backed up. To give you an example, if the teacher calls on the student and asks, what are the lakes in Michigan? And the kid's like, oh, I know that. We studied that last week. I know that. I know it. But you go back and you put on the board the acronym, say HOMES, HOMES, HOMES. Then they can go, Lake Huron, Lake Ontario, Lake Michigan, Lake Erie, Lake Superior. So what you just did a graphic organizer or an acrostic where the kid now has receptive knowledge but he doesn't have expressive knowledge until you teach the teachers how to pull that receptive knowledge out of a kid. Have you ever seen a person, you know them, but you can't think of the name? And you go, oh my goodness, what is that name? What is that person's name? What is that name? You know it, but express it. You can't express it, but you know it receptively. So many times teachers don't know how to teach to a kid's receptive knowledge. So if you say, is that Frank or is that David? Oh, that's Frank. How do you know that's Frank? You didn't think of his name at first. But what you did, you just gave him a precognitive cue. And so in my book, I'm teaching teachers how to teach to the receptive knowledge and the cognitive knowledge and the expressive knowledge so that they can reach all of the kids. So nobody gets left behind.
Yes, yeah. It's interesting that you shared that receptive and expressive, because lately, not trying to tell on myself, but if I can't recall something, I go into visual, right? So I'm visualizing the person because I want to ignite the sensors that will trigger me to recall whatever detail or their name or that situation. I'm going inward to get the outward expression, like you said. And I'm consciously making myself, remember the situation visually, because we can pull visuals. If we are conscious enough, we can go into our own body and say, you know this, right? we can do that if we teach ourselves these things. And it looks like that's exactly what you're doing. You're teaching them to go deeper, be intentional. Don't just say, well, this kid is not learning this way. Teach yourself as a teacher how to figure out ways to reach that child so that child's not left behind. Wow.
Yeah, you just said some very important things when you said go deeper. See, you know that you need to go deeper. Some people don't know what they don't know. And they don't know they need to go deeper because they don't know that they know some stuff that needs to come out. So that's the skill of teaching teachers. Because I taught special education for years, taught the gifted students, and of course the regular students, and of course my two daughters. You mentioned one's a doctor, one's a lawyer. I used to teach them how to be smart and how to recall things and not to memorize and not do rote memory. Because with the Bloom's taxonomy, when you teach kids by rote memory, what is this? What is that? What is this? What is that? That's rote memory. But if you don't say, how does that work? Give me your opinion, contrast and compare. Why is it not working? What if we do this? What would happen? See, all of this is going to the next level of thinking, comprehension and analysis, application, synthesis, and evaluation. Many times, our good teachers, they have good heart, but they don't know how to go from one rote memory level all the way to the called metacognition, where not only do you know it, but you know that you know it, and you know how you learn it, and then you know how to teach someone else. That's they So many times kids are just trying to get it themselves, like, I think I know it. I don't know if I know it. And they go home and this mother said, what do you learn in school today? Nothing. Now, I know you learned something in school today. And one of the things I used to do, have my daughters to tell me 3 things they learn every day. And when I was teaching kids, I would tell them at the end of the day, I want you to tell me 3 things that you learned today. And what do you think that does to their cognition? They start thinking, okay, I got to name 3 things at the end of the day. Or my daughters would know they had to come home and tell me 3 things. And I used to have them to tell the teacher. That my daughter's going to name 3 things that they learned today. And the teachers would catch my daughter and say, make sure you tell them the one thing out of my class that you learned. Because I had a good relationship with the teachers, and they got birthday presents, they got Christmas presents, teacher appreciation. So I was all in the school, and they had a good relationship with the teachers. But getting started with my teachers, when I was assistant superintendent, I used to teach my teachers. I used to teach the principals how to go in and evaluate teachers. And I would say to my principals, I don't need an administrator, because the custodian and the secretary can run the school. I need an instructional leader. So if you can get in the classroom and demonstrate to the teacher what you evaluate her on, then you shouldn't evaluate her. I need you to know how to evaluate teachers by demonstrating. So I need instructional leaders. So that has been my goal and my ministry and my mission, to have all teachers, to reach all students. No one left behind in my classroom.
Right. Yeah. Wow. You tapped into so much. And listen, when we come together, we can go in, because it's deep calling unto deep, right?
Yes,
and so
yes.
this is taking you from the surface level. I was just sharing with someone too, mediocrity. It takes you, you have to have a standard, and the standard is just what you said: no child left behind. And in order to achieve that, we have to stretch ourselves as leaders, as educators, as trainers. We have to stretch ourselves, and we have to get in uncomfortable positions that cause us to be patient, right? To find ways to reach. And then the results is this. So when you said, you had your children come home and say, I need three things from you, that it's accountability.
Yes.
It's accountability. And then not only just telling your daughters that, telling the teachers that as well. So everyone's accountable. And when you have that system in place, it causes the results to go in the right direction, in the directions that you want them. And so going back to you talking about a deeper understanding that in the classroom where, just reaching the students and things like that, and teaching them how to evaluate how they're learning themselves. And once they get the learning, it's critical thinking. I think that a lot of times, because to teach them remote, where this is the answer, but not the deeper understanding of why the answer is the answer. Because knowing why the answer is where the empowerment comes. The empowerment to be self-aware, the empowerment that breeds self-confidence and makes the student feel proud. So when you gave them the instruction to say, hey, when you come home, I want to know 3 things. We don't realize sometimes that empowers them. That gives them, a goal to achieve. And then when they come home and they're telling you that, hey, I've reached these goals, I've done these things, it empowers them, and it fosters that self-confidence that's required for them to be mature, to be responsible, to be,
that's the word,
to just really show up in life. And so with AI,
that's what I was just getting ready to say. Yes, with the AI. See, it's called listening hard. Because when you give them a purpose that you got to tell me 3 things, or you tell the teachers that the kid's going to name 3 things when they go home. And I used to say to the parents at the PTA meetings, ask your kids 3 things and tell the teacher. And then the teachers will start teaching hard, meaning that this is something you want to remember, class. This is something you want to remember. What she's saying is, this is one of the things I want you to mention in my class that you know. See, but AI is going to help teachers work smarter, not harder, because teachers got so much paperwork. And as the years go by with the IEPs and with the Title I and all of the different paperwork that they have to do, sometimes the reason teachers went into teaching for the compassion, for the passion about teaching, and the getting to those kids and making them feel special. Sometimes that is left because they got so much paperwork, lesson plans, and they just kind of cookie cut the lesson plan. I know how
Yeah.
that goes. All of
Yeah.
them look just
Yeah.
alike. You change the name and change the age, but all the lesson plans look just alike. Same, even with the IEPs for special ed, because oh my Lord, it's 13 pages of paper that I got to write these IEPs, put related services, and put when this kid is going to get out of special ed. The teachers get drowned in that. But if I could give them some software to personalize that learning, where those kids could do a self-assessment, you give them these 10 lessons to do. And if you finish with number one, then you go on to number two. They don't realize that number one may be on the awareness level, and all the way up to 10 is all the way on the mastery level, but it's fun and it's exciting, has animation. And then they just, wow, I just love doing this, but they just learn how to do fractions. If you don't know multiplication and you move on to division, how are they going to get division when they didn't learn multiplication?
Right.
And then next week you go into fractions and wonder why the kids didn't get, because you didn't make sure that all 100% of your kids understood. And I show them how to back up. They don't have to be all at the same place at the same time. Right. Kids learn differently. So you got to know, though, you got to almost be an orchestrator. You got to know where everybody is. While you're teaching the class, you got to know where they are, who's going to talk to whom, who's going to be a partner. And one of the things I used to do, use the word friend. If I want this one to work with this one, I said, John, I want you to go meet your new friend. I want you all to work together. Use the word friend 3 times. When you use the word friend 3 times, the kid's going to go home and say to the parents, Ma, I got a new friend today. And so you're orchestrating friendship. You're orchestrating self-esteem. You're orchestrating belonging. Because many times kids will sit by themselves and they don't want to reach out. They're shy and kids don't reach out with them. Then they say, I don't like school. Nobody likes me. And as the teacher, you see that. And when you see that, you got to orchestrate friendship. And AI is going to give the teacher more time now to do human touching and human interaction with those kids, so that she won't have to be doing all this paperwork and IEP forms and so on. So I'm hoping that the schools get involved, because teachers can't do it all themselves. I would hope that school system would buy this book for the teachers, although most likely they're going to buy it themselves. But I would like for them to give the teachers a moment to, I'm putting in my book, I want them to, that 10 software, I want them to go through and become familiar with them. I got many, many, many more, but the 10 main ones, I want them to be familiar with these in different areas, math and science and lesson planning and so on. And then you can start off by making your life easy with paperwork, lesson plans that you can cookie cut, but it is personalized for every kid. As opposed to the old cookie cut, just take the name off and put the same name, everybody doing the same thing. That is not an IEP, which stands for individualized educational plan. That's more like CIP, classroom wide.
Right. Oh my God. I just love it. This, like really school systems really coming behind this and supporting it, so that teachers have the resource and the support that they need in order for them to go into the classrooms and feel comfortable, because we know that when something is not known, it's unfamiliar, it causes a dis-ease. But when you have support in moving forward into something that's new, it eases you, and it allows you to be able to show up in the classroom better, show up in reaching the children and connecting with them. And you say it a lot, because when you have connection, then your student is open. Mm-hmm. And when you have them open, they're going to perform. They're going to show up. They're going to show up. And so this is just amazing. AI Toolkit for Teachers Made Easy. We are launching
Yes,
July 1st.
yes,
We're going to do a bestseller, and we're going to make the
yes,
bestseller status, and we're going to be celebrating on July 4th.
yes.
Any closing thoughts for our audience? How do they get connected with you if they want to interview you
Mhm.
themselves?
Yeah.
How are you available for interviews and all that other good stuff?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I am available because I want to get the word out. This is a good time to launch it for school. And we are celebrating not necessarily the 4th of July because we celebrate Juneteenth. So, but we are celebrating because it's our freedom to work smarter and not harder. It's our independence from all of the paperwork that we've had to do for years.
Yes.
So we'll be celebrating on July the 4th, but we'll be having a different reason to celebrate. But the book is written for teachers, but it's also good for parents, for students, administrators, and anyone who has their hand on a child, whether you're grandparents, a foster parent, or grandpa. This book is for you too, because believe it or not, kids are on AI. Kids are computer savvy more so than the teacher. And I need to say to teachers, don't feel that you need to know it all. Call on one of the students. You say, well, I don't know how to log in. I don't know how to. These kids will show you, they may not know the content that you're going to personalize it, but they will certainly be happy to say, oh, this is what you do. Because my one of my sons who's in IT, and I used to say to Wayne, I said, Wayne, how do you know all of this? Because he would call me up, the cursor on my computer moving, and he's trying to troubleshoot to see what's going on. And I said, Wayne, how do you know all of this? He said something that stuck with me. He said, Ma, it's intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what? It's not intuitive for me. But young people, they just pick up on, they were born in the AI age. They were born in the technology age. They don't know anything about asking Alexa, where do I go from here? Alexa, what the direction? Alexa, if the electricity goes out and they can't call on Alexa and can't call on, they don't know how to get anywhere. They
Yeah.
don't know any addresses because they've been dependent on Alexa and AI for
Right.
years and don't realize
Yeah.
they've been dependent on that. So
Yeah.
there is no excuse for kids in school nowadays not to do well because they got more tools and more things than we have, but some of them using it the wrong way. And we're going to have a disclaimer in our book for parents and for teachers, because just because it's free, it's not free because all these ads are going to pop up and you got to just click, no thank you, skip ad, blah, blah, blah. But you just have to deal with that because it is free and will serve your purpose. You don't need to go to the next level. They have these plans. Go to plan this $9 a month and you don't get any ads. No, you don't need to do that because I'm going to give you so many pieces of software. You don't want to just use the free software and deal with the ads. Give you a chance to go in to the ladies' room or check on a kid or give a kid a hug or something.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just going to be a beautiful toolkit for teachers, something they've been looking for. And I can hear them saying it, don't leave home without my toolkit because I'm
Right.
making it. And I want to do a workbook too, Melissa, you're going to help me with that, whereby if somebody does not have a computer at home, it's hard to believe that kids nowadays don't. But
Yeah.
during the COVID, found out that a lot of kids in Baltimore City didn't have a laptop. They had to go up to McDonald's or go up to Starbucks somewhere because they had something available for a while. Then when they closed down everything, then they couldn't go anywhere. And so they had to use the phone to do whatever teaching they could on the phone. So I'm cognizant of that as I'm writing the book, because you have like a Montgomery County, every kid has a laptop.
Right.
And in
Right.
Baltimore City, you may have one in a classroom. So I'm trying to that's why I need to do a workbook so the kids can have something hands-on if they don't
Right.
have a laptop to take home to do those software that the teacher's going to say, well, do this exercise on your phone or on your iPad or on your, say, well, I can ask my mama, can I use her phone? Or my daddy, can I use this phone? Because I don't have a laptop. And that is real out in the rural area and so on. Everybody do not have IA or don't have a computer. So I'm being very cognizant of that when I write the book and the strategies that the teacher can still reach everybody.
Yes, yes. And it's so important to make sure that, like you said earlier, no kid is left behind. And we're talking about their future, because their education now is going to position them for their future later. And this is so critically important. Such a needed toolkit. So it's the AI toolkit for teachers, made easy by Dr. Hattie Washington. Aunt Hattie's in the house. And so we just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. We're looking forward to continuing this conversation because there's so much more to be said. You know, notes here. I'm big on taking notes, critical thinking, deductive reasoning, analytical abilities and skill sets, application. So not only learning, but applying it, metacognition. Oh, I love it. I love it. And so much more. So we'll be back. So tune in. So watch out for her next interview. We're going to be interviewing July 1st, the 4th. We're going to be doing some interviewing. If you know a school system that's interested in purchasing the book, reach out to us and let us know that you're interested in having, and even having on Hattie there, Dr. Washington there. She's looking forward because this is a movement, as she put it.
As it is. It is a movement, a ministry, and a mission, the 3 M's.
Yes. And so we want to just say thank you so very much. We are out. Take care and be blessed.
Be blessed. Take care. God bless you.